Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. With the announcement of Modern Masters 2015 edition, we started thinking about what really needed reprinting. After a few days locked in a room naming pretty much every card in Modern, we decided it would be much better to just make a few top 10 lists. This list in particular is going to cover the rares and mythics that need reprinting the most in Modern Masters. There will be another top 10 list next week talking about the uncommons and commons, so don't worry, it'll be here. Time for the 8 billion disclaimers. This list is not going to include Tarmogoyf, Dark Confidant, Vendilion Clique, or Cryptic Command. Why, you ask? Because everyone in the world knows that these need another reprint. No one would be surprised if they are on this list and we find that boring. Plus, again, everyone knows these need reprints. Not a secret. Next disclaimer, by need a reprint, we mean that these are the cards that are both too expensive and are staples in Magic. For instance, Fulminator Mage, Bitter Blossom, Grove of the Burned Willows, and Elesh Norn aren't on this list. They're all way too expensive, but they don't see that much play. Bitter Blossom isn't placing except on random sideboards in Legacy, and Fulminator Mage hasn't been seen since Living Dead fell off the map. Grove is mainly played in Legacy with the exception of a couple Tron variants, and Elesh Norn is just a nod to Commander. None of these cards desperately need a reprint. Should they be reprinted? Yes, a lot of cards should be reprinted. But do they need it to keep the format healthy? Not really. Last disclaimer, we're also not including rares and mythics under $15. This is an eternal format after all, and to be honest, Inkmoth Nexus, Blinkmoth Nexus, Primeval Titan, and Birthing Pod are all pretty fairly priced. They're all widely used, and we feel that their value matches their strength and playability. Lastly, please remember, these are just the cards that need reprints the most, not the only ones that need reprints. So before you go and say that I forgot Arcbound Ravager or something like that, I didn't. Trust me. Man, I guess we can start the video now, right? Sure, let's do this. Honorable mentions. We have two that we want to talk about really quickly. The first one is Splinter Twin. It barely reaches our $15 minimum, but it warrants some attention. The card is a vital part of one of the most popular combo decks in the format, and it's only ever been printed one time. This is not a good thing. Right now it's steady around $15, but what happens a year from now if they don't print it and there's another huge boom in Modern play? Yeah, it's just bad things. The Twin needs a reprint. The other honorable mention here is Goblin Guide. I know many of you probably thought this would be on the list itself, but there's only one reason it isn't. Burn isn't doing that well right now in Modern. The card is definitely too expensive and definitely needs a reprint, but just not as bad as the cards on the list itself. Sitting at $15 to $20 is way too much money for a red aggro card. Red mages have gotten used to playing cheap decks in every format. Don't let Goblin Guide strangle them for another year. They have it hard enough as is, you know? Okay, here we go, list time. Number 10 is Blood Moon. While the card has been printed a total of 5 times, most recently in the first Modern Masters set, the card still boasts an impressive $20 price tag. This is due to its rampant use in Blue-Red Delver in both Modern and Legacy. While the card is indeed powerful, it arguably spends more time on sideboards these days than in main decks. After Blue Moon became a thing last year, the price on this moon has gone up much higher than most people thought. It just shouldn't be a $20 card. Number 9 is a card that a lot of people have forgotten about, but if it gets a reprint, you can expect a certain archetype to come back in full swing. Daybreak Coronet is the expensive piece of the hexproof puzzle. Sitting around $25, the enchantment is outrageously expensive compared to most cards in that strategy. Considering it was only printed in Future Sight and is a staple in a modern viable deck, you can imagine that this card is on Wizards' radar. Plus, they didn't print it in Theros, where enchantments were all the rage. Just saying, this could all be part of the plan. Regardless, the Coronet needs a reprint badly. Moving right along, number 8 is a card that flies under the radar of a lot of players. Spellskite has become a premier inclusion in pod decks, twin strategies, Blue-Red Delver, Scapeshift, Affinity, and a lot more. Easily one of the most powerful protection spells in the game. It's quietly moved up in price to around $15 to $20. While this may not seem like a big deal, I don't think the Skite's going anywhere anytime soon. Plus its only printing was a new Phyrexia, a small set that wasn't open for very long. If this doesn't get a reprint, you can expect its price to keep rising. Spellskite's type of protection is eternally valuable. Next up on our list at number 7 is Scapeshift. Another card sitting at around $15 to $20, Scapeshift is only on this list because of how rampant the strategy is. Scapeshift is extremely popular right now as a modern combo deck. The reason this should be reprinted is more of a precaution than anything else. This is the heart of that deck. It was only printed in Morningtide. If there's a surge of modern players in 2015, you can expect the price of this card to skyrocket again, just like it did when Modern boomed this past year. Important combo pieces like this and Splinter Twin need to be reprinted. You don't want to see the price of Scapeshift a year from now without a reprint, trust me. Number 6 on this list is actually a set of cards, lands to be specific. Celestial Colonnade and the rest of the Worldwake man lands are definitely on Wizards' radar. The Colonnade garnering a lot of this attention has already hit $15 and is a staple in most blue-white base control strategies. The rest of the cycle isn't nearly as expensive as Colonnade, but I can't imagine they would just print Colonnade and none of the others. However, if given the option, that is definitely what they should do because Colonnade needs a reprint real bad. And there we go, numbers 10 through 6 with a couple of honorable mentions. Didn't see some cards you expected to be on here? Don't worry, numbers 5 through 1 are coming soon, so if you feel particularly strongly about a specific card, believe that it'll be there. Speaking of numbers 5 through 1, which cards do you think will be in the top 5? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm interested to see where your priorities are. Remember, value and playability. Keep that in mind. As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.